podcast.
Welcome to Our Weird World. I'm your host, John Henson, and today, another part 2 of Massacres from history, just mass shootings, because, boy, we got a lot to pick from. Yeah. Some of these, probably all of them, just for whatever reason, granted, listen, I don't think any mass shooting is memorable at this point. Like, you had Columbine, probably the most famous. Virginia Tech, kind of up there. And, like, maybe Sandy Hook, because all the little kids. But, like, do we even remember Uvalde or Parkview? I think it was Parkview, like Miami. Do we even remember the one in the mall? I don't even remember the mall or where it was at. You know, you see what I mean? You see what I mean? Like, there's so many of them that we just kind of forget, you know? And I think maybe if we had just done a little 9/11 and just said, never forget Uvalde, never forget Virginia Tech, then maybe we wouldn't forget them after the next 8. And look, this is not going to be an episode about gun control and how maybe people don't need to own super powerful guns. Like, I'm not saying people shouldn't be allowed to own guns. I think you can. Like, I think that's fine. I own some guns. All right. Now listen, here's the thing. Should people be able to own like a full arsenal of like 10, 20 weapons? No, that's pretty dumb. It's pretty pointless. All right. Should people be able to own high-powered assault rifles with high caliber, bullets and high volume magazines? Probably not. Like, what's the point? What do you need that for? Like, you think you're going to just mow down the forest with all the Bambis? Like, I don't know. I think that should stay in the military. Like, I think some things should stay in the military. Like, if we're going to just let people own assault rifles, let's just let people own bombs too. Let's let people own grenades and, intercontinental ballistic missiles, because those are two very similar things. But you come on. Like, I think there's some common sense that need to be had. Now, look, I own guns. All right. Are they real guns? No. They're like airsoft guns. They're BB guns, but they look real. Like, they look real enough that if I pulled them on a cop and I were black, they would shoot me immediately. All right. Since I'm white, they'll probably do a double take, but like, they look real enough that they would pass. All right. And here's my thinking on that. All right. Listen, I don't want a real gun in the house. One, because I got kids. All right. That can go poorly in a lot of ways. Also, look, we all get a little sad. All right. And I don't ever want to have a really bad day to the point where I just look at that gun and be like, just go ahead. Right. Like, I'm not saying I would, but like, listen, it's real easy to eat an entire tray of Oreos. Right. But it's really hard to do it when you don't have the Oreos in the house. All right. You see what I'm saying? All right. A lot of statistics will tell you that guns kill a lot of people. All right. I think, let me see if I can find it. Yeah. The Department of Justice, before it, got gutted, but they did a study that showed that 2/3 of people who end up using a gun, all right, not just owning a gun, but using it, pew pew, shooting, they just use it on themselves and not for all of the burglars and rapists, probably from Mexico, that are just constantly breaking into people's houses. Am I right? They just end up using it on themselves. Even more, for every instance where a person was justifiably shot, whether by cops or other people, there are 100 suicides. So for every one instance where someone was justifiably, understandably shot, there are 100 suicides. I'm not a math guy. I'm not a numbers guy, but I think that's like a 99% suicide rate on gun use. All right. So like, I don't know. I just seems unnecessary to have them in a lot of instances, right? Unless you like hunting, cool, go for it. But like, if you're just so concerned about all the crime and the rapists and murderers that are always coming around to people's houses and you feel like you got to have guns, I don't think you do. Like, you can have an airsoft gun, because here's the thing. All right, here's the thing that I don't think a lot of people really think about. And I know I said this wasn't going to be about guns, but we're doing it. All right. This is the last thing I'll say, and then we'll get into the stories. Imagine someone breaks into your house, right? You're rummaging all through the house. You hear them. You grab your airsoft gun that looks like a real gun. All right. You go in there and you confront them. All right. Now, first of all, why are you imagining a black guy right now? That's pretty racist on your part. I never said what this guy's skin color was. Maybe you should check yourself. Anyway, you point your totally real looking airsoft gun at him. Most people, and I say most, I'm going to say 99% of people or more have no idea what it feels like to get shot. And therefore, burglar or rapist or whoever is going to look at your gun that's not actually a gun, but thinks it's a gun, and it's going to look like a real gun. And they're going to immediately not want to deal with that. All right. They're going to hands up. They're going to blah, 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 blah. And look, and maybe they charge you. Maybe they're on meth or something and they charge you and they're feeling pretty ballsy about themselves. Shoot them. Shoot them in the face, right? It's a BB gun. It's not going to kill them. But guess what? People are going to think they got shot for real because they're going to feel a slight twinge of pain. And then they're going to think they are for sure shot. Because again, their adrenaline's high. They're not going to think, oh, that hurts more than I thought it would. No, they're just going to realize like, oh, there's a burning sensation somewhere on my face right now. I think I just got shot. And then you just, go down and that's it. That's how it's going to go almost every time. And you don't even need a real gun. You don't have to live with the fact that you've killed someone. You don't have to live with the trauma of mortally wounding someone. It's great. I think it's a win-win. I think this is one part of adult life that I have figured out pretty solidly. So, that being said, let's look at some stories of people who used guns and other things to cause a lot of problems. All right, we're looking at the Parsley Massacre and the stories of Bruce Pardo, Mustuo Toi, and Woo Bum-Kon.
Story time! Story time! Story time? Story time!
We start with the Parsley Massacre, where for many years relations between Haiti and the Dominican Republic were strained, still are, mostly due to territorial disputes following the French and Spanish rule over the entire island of Hispaniola that these two countries share. Although both countries had similar populations, the Dominican Republic occupied more land, which forced many Haitians to travel across the border looking for work, which most native Dominicans didn't like. So, on October 2nd, 1937, Dominican Republic dictator Rafael Trujillo finally had enough of the Haitians stealing cattle and crops from residents just across the border, specifically in the northwestern frontier in the Chibao region. And he announced that 300 Haitians had already been killed in Banica and promised that the rest of the Dominican Republic, that sort of stuff would continue. And he told Haiti, too. He's like, hey, your people keep coming over here. We're just going to murder them. And like that's just the way it's going to be. Over the next week, hundreds of Dominican troops descended on the northwestern frontier armed with rifles, machetes, shovels, and bayonets, all of which were used to murder every Haitian that they could get their hands on. Survivors reported seeing Haitian babies being thrown into the air and caught by the soldiers' bayonets before being thrown on their mothers' corpses. It's a bloodbath out there. All right. Sorry I didn't warn you before I got to that sentence. I forgot. In the town of Monte Cristi, thousands of Haitians were bound by their hands and feet and just thrown into the ocean. To make things worse, soldiers purposely inflicted wounds on those Haitians so that they would attract sharks. In other areas, Haitians were attacked with machetes and strangled. Heads up, I'll warn you this time. Children had their heads bashed against rocks and tree trunks. Meanwhile, Haitian President Stenio Vincent ignored the massacre entirely and issued multiple statements saying that the relationship between Haiti and the Dominican Republic had never been better. And that might have actually been true. I mean, Dominicans and Haitians, they've hated each other for so long, and maybe there was worse things going on before that. I don't know, but it seems a little tone deaf when the Dominican military is just brutally murdering tons of Haitian people to say, it's never been better. It's fine. After 2 years of silence, protesters finally launched a coup against the Haitian president that forced the government to seek international mediation. During this, it was revealed that Vincent had been receiving financial support from the Dominican Republic in exchange for keeping quiet about all of the people they were murdering. President Franklin D. Roosevelt eventually helped broker a deal in which the Dominican government paid Haiti $525,000, over $10 million in today's money, at a cost of roughly $30 per victim, which seems light. Thanks to Haiti's corrupt government, these families of the survivors only ended up receiving about 2 cents for each person that died. On January 31st, 1938, the Dominican government defended the massacre as a solution for illegal immigration by quote-unquote undesirable Haitians. Trujillo's regime then doubled down on his anti-Haitian policies while developing the borderlands between the two countries with modernized roads, hospitals, schools, and housing. Even though quotas on immigration were enacted, Dominicans still continued to murder Haitians in the southern frontier and left other refugees to die of exposure and malaria. According to historians, this Parsley Massacre, as it came to be known through the etymology of it's a misconception because it actually didn't have anything to do with parsley. I don't know what it had to do with, but it had nothing to do with the herb. But this massacre resulted in as many as 20,000 Haitian deaths. And then you factor in all their earthquakes and those poor Haitians. They just can't catch a break, but whatever. Also, no desire to go to the Dominican Republic after that. Like, that's how they're doing things over there. Pass. Moving on to Mustuo Toi, who was born on March 5th, 1917 to a wealthy family. However, his parents both died of tuberculosis shortly after he was born, leaving him and his sister in their grandmother's care. Although he was initially very cheerful and outgoing, after his sister got married and kind of went off and did her own thing in 1934, Toi became despondent and withdrawn. So, in 1936, Toi became fascinated with the story of Sada Abe, a prostitute in Tokyo who strangled her lover to death and cut off his genitals. Spoiler alert, we are covering that story later on this year. It's a fun time. But he gets obsessed with this serial killer lady prostitute. He had also developed tuberculosis, which was still incurable at the time. And all of that kind of left him as somewhat of a social outcast. Even worse, Toi was hypersexual, which made him feel even worse since no one wanted to be around him, mostly because of the tuberculosis, not really because of anything else. Well, on May 20th, 1938, 21-year-old Toi decided that people just needed to go ahead and die. So he cut the power lines that led to the village of Kamo, about 200 miles north of Tokyo. And then after returning home, he gathered up his weapons, including an axe, a katana, because Japan, and a Browning shotgun. Around 1:30 a.m. on May 21st, Toi decapitated his 76-year-old grandmother with the axe while she slept. He then strapped 2 flashlights to his head and began sneaking through the village as if he was night crawling, which was this Japanese custom, it may still be a thing, where teenage boys sneak into unmarried girls' bedrooms and just announce that they want to have sex with them. That's a weird thing to do. And here's the thing, it's kind of expected, right? Like, you're just this teenage or maybe young adult Japanese girl, and just every night there's just this possibility that just this horny little dude can show up and just, hello, I want to have a sex with you. And the girls would either be like, yeah, sure, come on. Or I guess like they would make him leave. I don't know. Not only is this a very commonly accepted practice, but a lot of people in Japan find their spouses this way. Crazy. I don't know. Again, I don't know how much it still goes on, but at least back in the 30s, really popular. Toi, however, he was not looking to bang. He went into his neighbors' homes and instead announced that he wanted to kill them. So it's just like, hello, I am here to kill you. No. Oh, you don't want to have a sex with me? You want to kill me? Yes. Over the next 90 minutes, Toi murdered 29 people. Like, that's a lot of people to go in from house to house, not just like out in a huge crowd. He also seriously injured 3 others, which amounted basically to half of the residents in this village at the time. He then walked out of the village and over to a nearby mountain where he shot himself in the chest. After the massacre, more residents left the village until it was finally absorbed by the city of Tsuyama. And this event remains the single deadliest shooting by a lone gunman in Japanese history. Moving on now to Woo Bum-Kon, who was born on November 5th, 1955 in Choryang in the southeastern coast of South Korea. After serving in the Marines where he was a skilled marksman, Woo followed in his father's footsteps and became a police officer. Even more, thanks to his marksmanship skills, he was able to work at the Blue House, which was the presidential residence in South Korea. Unfortunately, though, for Woo, he developed a severe drinking problem and ended up getting demoted and assigned to Kungyu Village near his hometown. On April 26, 1982, Woo was awoken from a deep and possibly alcohol-induced afternoon nap after his girlfriend, Chun Mao-soon, hit him in the chest with a fly swatter while trying to kill a fly. Totally innocent. Homie is just sleeping. Now, why girlfriend would just whack him on the chest with a fly swatter while he is asleep, not a smart move. All right? Like, just kind of shoo the fly away. You don't have to whack right on. Like, that's dumb. That's a real rude thing to do. So, understandably, super pissed off, following a brief argument, he leaves the house and goes to the police station where he reported for duty at 4 o'clock. Well, at 7:30, he returned home, beat his girlfriend, kind of get it, but also it's not okay, and then smashed the furniture in the home. Feeling a little satisfied with himself, but still really mad about getting hit in the chest with his fly swatter. And maybe at this point it's overkill. Woo walked over to the reservists' armory and took 2 M2 carbine rifles, 2 handguns, 7 grenades, and at least 180 rounds of ammunition. By 9:30 that night, Woo had made his way to the post office where he shot 1 person before going inside and shooting 3 phone operators and cutting the phone lines. He then went over to the market where he launched one of his grenades and opened fire on the shoppers, killing 6 people. By now, Woo's girlfriend, who's like, oh my God, I have really messed up here. She heard the shooting and ran after him to see what was going on. When he sees her, he shoots her, not kills her, but does wound her. An hour later, still dressed in his policeman's uniform, Woo took 18-year-old Kim Ju-dong hostage and moved to the village of Ungye-ri. After ordering Kim to get him a soda from a grocery store, Woo shot him before attacking the store's owner and family. After killing a total of 18 people in Ungye-ri, something like that. Anyway, he made his way to Pyeongchang-nai, where he broke into a home and shot a family of 4 in their beds. I'm killing these Korean pronunciations, I think. Just like Woo is killing all of these people in the villages. Hey. Woo, he's still openly carrying all of his weapons. Like, he's just walking around town all willy-nilly, just like, oh, hero, patow, patow. And just people are running for their lives and getting shot. he made his way to another house where the owner, who apparently had no idea that a mass shooting was taking place, asked Woo what was going on. Woo explained that there was an alert because North Korean spies had been spotted in the area. And in response, the man invited Woo inside for dinner because apparently Koreans eat super late. Because, this is like well after 10 o'clock at this point. During the dinner, the man who had invited Woo inside complained about not making enough money and his recently forced transfer to the village from the larger city of Busan. Trying to then change the subject, other guests at the dinner table began remarking that it was odd for a police officer to be packing so much heat. Because again, Woo was just sitting there draped in his guns. And guests are like, oh, that's very weird to have so many guns. And so, and then they also started joking that a lot of his guns didn't even look real. And so in response, Woo was like, oh, my gun are definitely real, and just shot all 12 people at the table, along with another 8 people walking along the streets after he had left the house. By this point, Korean police had finally gathered a team of 37 officers to try to track Woo down. And as they searched for him, Woo made his way back towards the police station in Gyeongju and was hiding in a farmhouse belonging to 68-year-old Soo In-soo. When Soo asked why a random police officer was hiding on his property at 1:40 a.m., Woo explained that he was chasing a communist infiltrator and that Soo's family should just all gather in the main room of the house so that he could protect them. Once Soo had his family in place, Woo obviously made them all his hostages. By 4 a.m., police had finally tracked Woo down to this house and prepared to arrest him. At that point, Woo strapped 2 grenades to his chest and detonated them, killing himself and 3 of the hostages. In all, 57 people, including Woo, were killed and 35 more people were wounded, all because this dude's girlfriend smacked him on the chest with a fly swatter. So I don't know, ladies. Maybe think twice before you start antagonizing your man, all right? Moving on. Our final story here happened at 11:30 p.m. on Christmas Eve 2008 when 45-year-old Bruce Jeffrey Pardo decided to pay his former in-laws a visit in Covina, California. Dressed in a Santa Claus suit, Pardo showed up as 25 people were still spending time together at a holiday gathering. He carried a wrapped package containing a rolling air compressor that he had converted to deliver gasoline from it. You'll see why in a second, along with at least 4 9mm handguns. Well, shortly after someone opened the door to let him in, Pardo pulled out the guns and shot his 8-year-old niece, Katrina Yezepolsky, in the face as she ran up to greet him. Uncle Bruce, pow! Crazy. He then began firing all willy-nilly at the rest of the party. He then proceeded to shoot another 16-year-old girl in the back. Another woman at the party broke her ankle after jumping out of a second-floor window trying to escape. After emptying the rounds from all of his guns, Pardo unwrapped the rest of the package with the air compressor, which he then used to spray gasoline all over the home and set it on fire. In all, 9 people at this party died from either the flames or the gunfire, and police even speculated that Pardo stood over some of those victims and executed them. The fire, which sent flames 50 feet into the air, took 80 firefighters and nearly 2 hours to extinguish. While all of that was going on, Pardo ditched his Santa suit and drove the Dodge Caliber car he had rented to his brother's house 30 miles away in Sylmar, where police found him dead from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. They also found pieces of the Santa suit fused to his skin after the fire that he had set inside the house had gotten so hot. Also, police found $17,000 in cash cling-wrapped to his legs inside of a girdle, along with the 4 handguns and 200 more rounds of ammunition. Thinking that there was something more threatening inside the car, police then used a robot to remove more pieces of the Santa suit, but the robot accidentally started a fire, completely destroying the rest of the vehicle and preventing authorities from fully figuring out what Pardo was trying to do. In the end, along with the 9 deaths, 13 kids from this family were orphaned and probably super scarred every Christmas with anytime somebody in a Santa suit comes around, they probably freak out. Maybe internally, but the PTSD got to be crazy with those 13 kids. After investigating Pardo's home and finding a quote-unquote virtual bomb factory, police assumed that Pardo was having marital problems. He had initially refused to open a joint bank account in 2006 with his wife Sylvia and had actually expected her to use her own money to take care of the 3 children she had from a previous relationship. And that's not super unreasonable. I think the joint bank, like refusing to open a joint bank account with even from someone as their second marriage is kind of weird. Like I think if you're going to get married, like fine, do a joint bank account or don't. Like, I don't know. But I think it is mostly reasonable unless there's a good reason not to for the partner to continue taking care of their kids. I don't know. I feel like I'm kind of backing myself. I think if you marry someone, you also marry their family. And so you should probably at least somewhat take care of those kids. Maybe 100% not helping with those kids is a bit of a dick move. And he's a dick. I'm on the side that he's a dick. All right. Police also speculated that he had been hiding his own child from a previous relationship, which is weird, who had been severely injured in a swimming pool accident several years prior, and to whom Pardo offered no child support. He's a dick. Total dick. 6 months before the massacre, Pardo had been ordered to pay $1,785 a month in child support plus $10,000 back payment. And that's a lot, but it's been years. He's got to catch up. He was subsequently fired from his job as an electrical engineer for billing false hours, and the divorce had been finalized a week before the attack. I get why he did it. Still a dick move for a ton of reasons. There we go. Morbid Massacres Part 2 in the books. There's mostly sad stories this week, which, you know, that happens. History is sad sometimes. So let's recap and see what we learned today.
What did we learn?
Number 1, Dominicans hate Haitian people. Holy cow. Real evil stuff. And like, again, this happened in the 1930s around the same time World War II was going on. So like a lot of people were not paying attention to this. And probably kind of rightfully so. It's Haiti and Dominican. It's a tiny little island. Meanwhile, the entire rest of the world is killing each other. But it's still not right. But you know, it is what it is. Number 2, Woo Bum-What's-His-Face. Woo Bum-Kon. Real pissed off that his girlfriend smacked him in the chest with a fly swatter, albeit trying to be helpful, but just set him off. And he killed a ton of people in and around a handful of villages in South Korea before ultimately killing himself. And then number 3, Mustuo Toi. Japan is so weird, you guys. Like, the idea that it's a common practice, or at least it was, to just break into this girl's house and be like, hello, I want to have a sex with you. And then the girl's just like, sure. Like, I could go for some right now. That's fine. Just wake her up out of a dead sleep and then just be like, yeah, sure. That's fine. Hey, maybe we can get married too. That's so. What is happening in Japan?
What did we learn?
Next week on Our Weird World. You remember last year when we had the Summer of Cults? We're bringing it back for 1 week. Another part 2, technically, of just an episode covering some smaller cults from history. We're looking at what Michael Ryan did, a different one. We covered another guy named Michael Ryan back in episode 108, but this is a different one. We're also looking at Sachiko Eto and Good News International Ministries. If you're curious, the good news is that you're dead. So come on back next week for a little small reprise of the Summer of Cults. And thank you so much for continuing to listen. Keep telling all your friends and keep it weird.
This is a podcast